What is up, everybody? It is Tuesday, 4 o'clock in Eastern, which means it's time for the Monster Maverick Show. Even though, past month or two has been a little spotty for me, and apologies for that. But, so like last week, I didn't have a show, and that's because I was just feeling like garbage, And today I woke up with a headache, but, I've managed to rally throughout the day, so it has worked out, and we actually have a show today. And before that, I had all my internet problems. Trees falling on my power lines and whatnot. It's interesting. So my Wi-Fi has been kind of spotty past couple of weeks. So I went ahead and I just bought an Ethernet cable so I can run a long one, so I can run from my computer here at my desk over across the basement to my router. And even with that, the internet still goes in and out intermittently for like a second, so those two trees are gone because they fell down, and but yeah, so I have fiber optic to the house, right? So it's a light signal coming in to the house, and then it goes to the router in my closet back here, and I'm plugged directly into that. So it should be very, very reliable, but every overnight is actually the worst. I'll come back in the morning and it'll open tabs as it reconnects, and it'll like go to like msn.com or whatever for some reason. But yeah, it's just super weird. Fortunately, it doesn't happen during the day very often, so we should be fine for Monster Mavic purposes anyway. But it's weird because when I had the guys out here from AT&T looking at at everything, they said, well, you have fiber optics, so it's either on or it's off. There's no like loose connections or anything because like you would get on a copper or in cable or anything. So it shouldn't be doing that. And I could get a business plan so I can bitch about it. Yes, I could, but then I would just pay more. So right now I'm paying $50 a month, which is tolerable, I guess. But yeah, so it's been a little eventful kind of time here. We had some announcements with lands. We had actually, I don't know, do we have a show since the second presale? Yeah, it'll be a write-off. It's a write-off anyway. Don't worry about that. Starlink soon, yeah, maybe. Uh, you know, I'm looking forward to wideband internet, by satellite. So that's or satellite or high altitude balloons or whatever it is they're doing. Um, it'll be good. Upload speeds I think will be an issue, but downloads will be great. So yeah, it's been an eventful couple of weeks. I don't know where I want to start. So let's start with the usual stuff. So we have I'll do my announcement kind of stuff. So as always, we have Deck 101. That's where if you want to burn your rewards cards, better off setting them to Deck 101. You'll get more. And we have Deck 404, which is our account sharing system where an owner delegates cards into it. A player comes in, plays those cards, they split the rewards. So that's all working well. We're growing slowly there. But as you probably all know, Gerber is my partner there, and I can't tell you what it's going to be, but I can tell you that it's going to be exciting in the coming months for some of the things that we have planned there. But basically, we're waiting on, we're taking back seat to D-City improvements that Gerber is working on right now. So if you're not a D-City player, you should check it out. It's fun. People are making tons of Hive and Sim and everything else in that game, and he's rolling out an update for I guess version 3 or edition 3, where you're going to be able to combine cards much like you do in Splinterlands for creating new things, and they'll have different effects, which is pretty interesting. And that actually reminds me of some of the things that Agro was talking about on the AMA about lands. So, I have, if you look on the web stream, which is on msgwaves.com, it's on Vim and it's on Theta. you could see my browser and everything, and this image was shared as kind of a, I wouldn't even call it a rough draft. It would be an inspirational draft. So I don't think this is going to bear too much resemblance to what we end up with for the lands, but it is interesting in that it has kind of the ideas that they are working through. So you got to imagine this whole thing is going to be 150,000 plots or 150 regions. I think it's easier to think in regions. So, on a region scale, you're looking at, maybe, I don't know, what's the square root of 150? You think I know this, like 12 and change, right? Yeah, 12.25. So you got to think each one of these, like the length of this island is going to be roughly 12 regions wide, and the height of the island is going to be roughly 12 regions tall. And obviously it's not rectangular, so it's going to be squiggly within that. But you can kind of picture in your mind, like overlay a grid here, and then you can kind of get an idea of what a region will contain. And the thing I'm really looking for, or the thing I'm really noticing in this map, is all the different terrain types. So I think there's going to be 14, if I remember right, 14 different terrain types. So there's tundra, there's desert, there's badlands, there's canyons, there's plains, there's glacier, there's bog. Let's see, endless desert. I don't know if that's different than desert or if that's just a particular desert. Mountains, swamp, and a bunch of others. So, when I was originally thinking about, what a region might contain, I was thinking that that the land types would be much more varied within a region. But from this, it's looking like it's going to be large swaths of land types within each region. So you might not have as much variety inside one region as you might have thought. So that is something to keep in mind. So with land sale number 2, I did get my region finally. I lost out on land sale number 1, but for only 1.5 million Dark Energy crystals more, I got into land sale number 2. And then I also got some more plots as Uniswap liquidity provider rewards. I'm up to 26 there. I ended up cashing out for the land sale, so 26 is all I'm going to get because that's all the Dark Energy crystal I had basically. So yeah, so I'm going to have one region somewhere, and then I'm going to have 26 random plots throughout. So I was thinking originally that before I saw this map, that it would be better to trade those 26 or sell the 26 and get ones that are near my region. But now that I'm seeing this, then maybe not. It might be better to have 26 of those other regions spread out somewhere else just to have more geographic variety. So I mean, we'll have to see obviously how that all rolls out, but it is interesting. So things to keep in mind. And other things, other updates, so people have been talking a lot about the raffle tickets. So I went ahead and made a I made a spreadsheet. I know Ron will be surprised. Let's see if I can actually open that. So basically, I you can see in the post there, I've got 2 spreadsheet images, and basically it's like, well, we know the value of a region is going to be $15,000, at full retail. We know that a value of a tract is going to be, the 1600 is actually wrong. It should be, I think it's 1650 because it's 85%, or 1750. I don't know, whatever it is. But that's slightly off. The value of plots are going to be, so plots, I came up with a discount based on the idea that, yes, they're going to be for sale at retail at $20. But just like we see with the packs, people buy the larger volume discounted packs and then they sell them off for a little bit of premium. So same kind of idea with the plots. They're going to be more expensive than the tracks, I think, but they will be not full retail. So maybe a 10% premium, something like that. There's going to be a bunch of dice. There's going to be a bunch of Untamed packs. Those are all selling at discounts right now on the Leodex or Hive Engine markets. And those are numbers that we know. Now, we have to guesstimate that, however many dollars were spent in pre-sale number 3. But I think the number I have there is reasonably in the ballpark. Plus the 100,000 tickets for Uniswap liquidity providers. That brings us up to about 950,000 raffle tickets that are happening, and that raffle's happening in January, so in about a month. So the question, so people were trying to figure out what's a fair trading price for these raffle tickets. And, if we discount the totems entirely, we come out to about 8.5 cents, something like that. And if we value the tokens much more highly than 0, then it obviously increases. So, the way I have the math here is that it's like, well, the totems are going to impact the plots. And so we have to assume that they're going to impact the productive capacity of those plots. So like, if something is mining stone at 100, then maybe a legendary totem doubles it to 200. I personally doubt it'll be too much greater than that. 100% bonus is a lot. So, but it could be wrong. We don't know. That's kind of the speculation here. And so I said, well, if it doubles the production value, then it might cost as much as a plot itself. And then that would be for the legendaries, and the epics, rares, and commons would be less than that. So if you take that approach, then we come out to an expected value of about 16 cents per raffle ticket. And so Byzantinist immediately objected, saying they're going to be way more than one plot. They're going to be super rare and all that kind of stuff. And maybe he's right. Yaba actually chimed in on the post, and he said that something to consider is that the legendary totems are going to be highly specific. So in fact, I'll just read his comment here. So you mentioned in the video that if a legendary totem doubles the production of a plot, then it may be worth about the same as a plot. But a key thing I think that misses is that not all plots are created equal. For example, if someone has a legendary plot of land that contains a magical resource like Sparkstone, the plot will produce far more Sparkstone than lower rarity plots with the same resource, assuming other factors like building level and workers are the same. So the question in my mind is, if you have a legendary Sparkstone plot with a max level mine, how valuable would one of the few legendary totems that specifically increase Sparkstone production rate be to you? For something like that, even a common rarity Sparkstone totem may very significantly increase your output. And obviously, Yaba knows what he's talking about because he's the one designing all this stuff. So if you're looking for tickets, just keep these things in mind. I would say, 8.5 cents is a base expected value, and on up from there. I think 16 cents is probably fair. If you take some of these things that Yab is talking about into consideration, maybe it's 30 cents, maybe it's 40 cents. I don't know. But we can take a look here at the Leodex. Let's see. I forget what the actual ticker is. Is it Raffle? It is Raffle. Okay, so right now they're going for 16 cents. Right there. So, maybe people are thinking in a similar kind of vein as me. I wish we had something other than Swap.hive as a base pair here on Leodex and Hive Engine, but we don't. So, if you guys haven't seen it, I actually floated a bond this 5 days ago. So, and this is kind of related to that same issue, where basically I've listed 100,000 tokens, and each token represents $1 of loan to me to then go to yield farming, which will then I'll pay the lenders 15%. So, I'm listing them on Leodex and Hive Engine, but I have to constantly adjust the price of the tokens because I'm borrowing in US dollars, but but these prices on the decentralized exchange are in Swap.hive. And Swap.hive has its own market value in relation to US dollars, so it's got to constantly adjust that. Fortunately, I got Gerber on my team, and he was able to knock out a script to automatically change the price there in like 10 minutes. So I was all resigned to doing it manually. It's like, no, no, I'll do it for you. There you go. So that is pretty great. So if you haven't heard about that, check it out, because I think 15% is pretty good. And I'm actually really excited about this, just in the fact that it's accessible, decentralized finance. And by accessible, I mean that if you go to Ethereum, or you go to it's to some degree EOS, there are other DeFi platforms. Obviously, did I hit record? Yes, I did hit record. I have been known to miss that, but I did it this time. So the problem with Ethereum, specifically, and EOS as well, is that it's basically whale games only, and the reason for that is the gas and the staking costs. So on Ethereum, you're having to spend Ethereum for gas, every single transaction. I was doing some rebalancing within Curve the other day. I spent like I don't know, 150, $200 on gas fees, just pulling out of smart contracts and adding to other smart contracts. It's ridiculous. And on EOS, you don't have to pay gas fees, but you have to stake. I think right now it's like 70 EOS just to do anything. That's like $200 locked up in EOS just for the privilege of using the network at all. And if you use any kind of volume, then it increases from there. So, that really, really shuts out the little guy. And but on Hive, the Hive power compared to the RC requirement, so the staking that's required is so minimal. We're talking about like 10 Hive in order to, in terms of Hive power, in order to publish JSONs and do all these kinds of transactions. So it's much more accessible to everybody, and as it's turning out, that is actually what we're seeing, because if you go to the listing right here, you can see that the trade history, this is truncated a bit, but you can see like a lot of people are doing like ones and twos and things like that. We had somebody come in, I think the first guy came in at 500, which was nice. But since then, it's been pretty much, 1, 2, 10, 25. So I am not exactly sure that we are going to hit our funding target, because in order to get this whole thing kicked off the ground, we have to get to 30,000 tokens sold. And right now we're at, what? We're at, let's see, got 22,729 there, and I got another 75,774. So yeah, we've only sold 1,500 of these tokens. So we'll, to get to 30,000 by December 31st, not sure that's going to happen. But worst case, I just return all the funds to the lenders, and then we just go on our way. But I know some people have expressed interest in larger portions, and we'll see how that all develops. But for right now, I am what's the opposite of cautiously optimistic? Cautiously, what's the opposite of optimism? Pessimistic. That's the word. So, we'll see. But I'm excited just in the fact that it is accessible DeFi. I think that's pretty cool, and just creating these kinds of financial structures as new things in the world is exciting. Yes, cautiously pessimistic. That's right, Cal. So it's interesting times. The whole crypto world is interesting right now. I wrote this post. The crypto revolution is just getting started. And that is because, I don't know if you noticed, but Bitcoin is still hovering just under that 20K mark. And, like we've been talking about for, a long time, as crypto goes in general, so will Splinterlands, and so will lots of other things. But let's zoom out here. Look at a weekly chart here on Bitcoin. Let me take off all these indicators. How many raffle tickets were given during the last sale for a region? 1,000. No, 9,000. Sorry. Come on. Copy. Paste. There we go. So you can see that we're bumping up against that all-time high with Bitcoin, and once we push through, I think we pop up to like 30,000 like almost immediately. But we'll start to bring the normies back into crypto. Already I've heard from clients who just we're talking about crypto just in general, and they've been saying like, oh yeah, I had bought some back in 2017 and I finally sold it because we got back to even, and they're talking about like $100, $500 worth of Bitcoin. So these aren't people who mortgage their houses, fortunately, but that kind of activity is the beginning of the normies getting into crypto. And then they'll find things like Brave, and they'll find the Splinterlands ads on Brave, and all that kind of stuff. They will lead into the crypto market. On top of that, Ethereum 2.0 sort of launched last week. So obviously I'm not huge into Ethereum. I'm not in on the internal workings of it. But so what I've discovered since the launch is that it's going to be a 2-year process, basically. So Ethereum 2 is always 2 years away. But so they've got it up and kind of running. Then they're going to be implementing the multi-threading, and which they're calling sharding, and over time they will be transitioning from the proof of work Ethereum 1 into the proof of stake Ethereum 2. So just 2 more years. And ever since I've been in crypto, I've heard that Ethereum 2.0 and proof of stake and all that kind of stuff is 2 years away. But now they're actually making some moves to show that is somewhat real. So that is exciting in the sense that gas fees are the killer of Ethereum usage. So if the network becomes 100 and however many times faster, then theoretically the gas fees will drop by a similar proportion. Then you got to balance that with the increase in volume, so that not just CryptoKitties by itself won't just break the whole thing. But all in all, progress towards progress towards easier use and lower cost of use are beneficial for crypto as a whole, and then that'll funnel into, at least a portion will funnel into Splinterlands. And Cal's dropping tweets here. Let's see, from Vitalik. The roadmap I made back in March, updated with very rough and approximate progress bars showing what has been done and some with some tweaks to the roadmap itself. A lot has been accomplished, but still, a lot remains to be done. Sure it does. Oh, man. It's I understand that development is not a straight line, but it's been very not a straight line for this. So it's still exciting to see. ETH1, ETH2 merge. No more POW. Right there. That is the whole thing. Once we get to there, then then things will work. Ah, man. But the by my rough calculations, this is 2 years worth of work. But still, Splinterlands is making progress. No, Agro had dropped in the chat about a week ago that November had 3,500 signups, which is an enormous number. But of those 420 spellbook purchases, which is still a nice number. So if we go to hivedata.space to check out some users, because that's always the name of the game is users. All right, so let's look at more than, well, we can just look at the 30 days. That's fine. So there's November basically, and let's zoom out. Chart start date to 6/1. Usually what I like to use. Users. Take off all these. So you can see compared to October, November was up. Not hugely, but up. And we have our season ending spikes as always with everybody trading cards and selling and everything, burning and what have you. So I think things are progressing. We got the Google Play app now, which we went over last time. Some justifiable criticism on the optimization of that app listing. I know Yamba has said that iOS is coming soon. I have iPhone type stuff, so that is exciting for me because so like when I try to play on the mobile website, it's a little hard to use still. So I'm hoping that actually a native app inside the operating system will be a bit better. If any of you guys have actually used the Google Play app, let me know if it's easier than the mobile site or if it's just the same, because I don't actually know. And somebody has suggested I run an emulator on on my desktop, but I can just wait. That's okay. So another thing that we have seen since the end of the previous or the stage 2 land sale is the price of dark energy crystals. So let's see if we can. So Crypto Reaper says it is a step in the right direction, but it still downloads all assets and uses a mobile browser. Okay, so that's not great. Those assets should be hard coded, I think, into the app version, and so you don't have to download that every time. But that is definitely work in progress. So let's go back to Leodex. Let's go to dark energy crystals. Actually, no. What am I even doing? Let's just do DEC USD both. Is that the right command for Gerbot? Ah, there we go. Okay, so you can see here that the price went up, hit parity with 1,000 splintoshis, as Ag likes to call them, retreated a bit, and then went back up, and then has retreated since. So and Gerber and I have been talking a lot about this. So right now we're hanging out at I think it's 7,000 or 700 rather. Let's see what Peak Monster says. 71.79 right now. So 718 splintoshis. Why is my copy and paste not working? So right there. So, and it's hard to see that going up anytime soon. So we had pre-sale number 1, and the price of dark energy crystals, rose leading into that, and people then used their dark energy crystals, bought lands, and then the price started falling again. And pre-sale number 2 started coming around, and prices started rising again. And then pre-sale number 2 happened. People used their dark energy crystals, and prices retreated again. So, with that said, and the buying intensity on pre-sale 2 was far less than on pre-sale 1, and that makes sense because people have already bought 30,000 plots worth, and now with pre-sale number 2 out of the way, people have bought 60,000 plots worth. So the next pre-sale, which I'm not even sure when it is it the 18th? Something like that. The next pre-sale, is probably going to grind out for a while, and I don't anticipate there being a whole lot of buying pressure. Let's go to shop, land. Okay, so 12.19 is the next one, and that's going to be a 30% off. So you got to kind of figure that the market price of dark energy crystals is going to float around that same amount in order to give an equivalent US dollar price to the earlier pre-sales. So pre-sale 1 region was 7,500, pre-sale 2 was 9,000. So if pre-sale 3 the actual what do you call it, dark energy crystal price is going to be whatever 30% off of everything is. So it's going to be what, 20 million times 70% times 0.7. So it's going to be 14 million dark energy crystals. No, that's not right. That times 25% discount times 70%. Okay, so times 0.75. So it's going to be 10 million 500,000 dark energy crystals. So if that 10,500,000 is the same price in US dollar terms as the 7 million or 7.5 million or 9 million it took previously, then I can see some volume happening. But if the price remains higher than that, then I think not. So, I think that we're going to stay in this, 60 to 70 kind of range on the dark energy crystal price just to account for that arbitrage. And, as I'm saying that, I'm wondering if I overpaid with the 9 million dark energy crystals I spent on pre-sale number 2. Because it may very well end up being that I can get a region in pre-sale 3 for less in US dollar terms, which may be something to think about. I will have to think about that. So, there's also, the lottery here that, is this the most recent one? Yeah. Final land presale, Uniswap rewards, Leo tokens, and more. The Leo thing is pretty cool. They are accepting Leo tokens. And, on the AMA that I was listening to Yeba talk about this, he was saying that obviously it's very easy for them to accept any kind of Hive engine layer token like Leo, but there just hasn't been anything with enough volume or anything to make it worthwhile to even pose the question. But now Leo is so, and Cal obviously here is the grand poobah over at Leo, and it's fun to be part of that project in that something is successful and things are happening. So similar to Splinterlands, Leo has has its own onboarding system now, and they just dropped an update where you can actually sign up with Twitter, which is kind of amazing because crypto Twitter is a big thing, and being able to bring people in from that ecosystem with virtually no friction is amazing. And I think it's even a better sign up system than what Splinterlands has. But both of those projects are doing a good job to make it easier and easier for people to come in to the ecosystem. So let's see, third land pre-sale details. Yeah, we got all that. It's 30,000, 30% discount, and let's see, land will remain available for purchase through the Splinterlands website at the 30% discounted price until either all 30,000 plots are sold or until January 1st, 2021, at which point any remaining plots from the third presale plus the 50,000 additional post-presale plots will be available for purchase at the base retail price. And so they are going. And Hershey says, I guess sand has the volume. Maybe. I don't know if sand has any value, though. I think it's all wash trading, isn't it? So, let's see. Let's look at volume here. It did at that one day. It had a lot of volume, but lately not so much. And of course, the value is pretty low. I think whenever I have Evernote opens, it kind of steals my screen grabs, so I have to do it twice. But yeah, I would not say that's worth bothering to implement. So as of yesterday, the second month of Uniswap LP rewards were available for claiming plots. So I had 18 from the first month, and I had 8 from the second month, and then I cashed out, to get to end our presale number 2. So if you haven't done that already, you can do that at any time now, and it's over on. If you go into Splinterlands under your profile section, you can see claim Uniswap reward. You just put in your wallet address and you're good to go. It's pretty cool. I'm a fan of this kind of incentive system. So let's bring up my inventory here so you can see how that all works. If my internet will work. Okay. So I've got here, you can see got 26 land plot claims. Those are the 18 plus the 8, and then you can see raffle tickets 9,000. That's because of the 9 million Dark Energy crystals I spent on Land Sale number 2. So, you know, with the raffle tickets, at 8 cents, it's still a nice chunk of change with 9,000 because that's $720. If it ends up being worth more than that, I mean, right now they're going for 16 cents, so that's almost $1,500 in U.S. dollar terms. I don't know if there's the volume to support that kind of trade, but I'm holding on for the actual raffle because even though my luck is terrible in general with these kinds of random events, I'm still holding out hope. Maybe somebody's going to win the region. Could be me. Somebody's going to win. Somebody's going to win. What do you call it? Legendary totems. Could be me. And the expected value is the expected value. So if it's 1,500 U.S. dollars worth, then I should get somewhere around $1,500. Obviously there's variability in there that's not accounted for. Again, because we don't actually know the prices of totems. But I'm with the number that I have, I'm confident that I will get some degree of something. And to me, that's going to be worth more than the $1,500. So I'm sticking in for the raffle for the long haul of another month or so. But we'll see how that all shakes out. I will of course be updating everybody, with whatever happens. Here's the Leo announcement. Roadmap update, which is pretty nice. I always love roadmap updates. Come on, copy, paste. We got Google Play Store mobile app submission is complete. iTunes, December, January. Land presale, January. Guild Wars Q1 2021, which I think the latest term is Guild Brawl or something like that. In-game inventory management for avatars and skins, Q1 2021. This, I think, is actually much bigger than anybody seems to be paying attention to. People love skins. People like to customize things, put their own unique spins on things. The problem with the skins so far is that they're not easily tradable. Yes, you can do it. If you know how to publish the right JSONs. I know Yasek can do it, but it's pain, and there needs to be an in-game system to do that. So, also the skins that have been created are not in demand, and you can see that very easily by going to the actual shop and looking for them. There's there's only one set. And, there's a lot of them have been 10 or 20 sold. Not a lot. So, Swoop is here. So Swoop could actually, I think, make his own skin for, the various cards, and then he can play his own stuff. And I think, for the artists that are on NFT Showroom and all that kind of stuff, that's going to be way more attractive from a user standpoint than just these kind of skins from on high. So having that participation in the community, I think is going to be way better. New player mode tutorial for mobile Q1 2021. Obviously that is important, getting those players into the game and having them understand how everything works. Pretoria map release and land claims redemption Q2 2021. Boss fights achievements. Boss fights are coming someday. Swoop is going to make some skin on his skins. And don't ask for any skin from Swoop because he will send you terrible pictures of himself. So, unless you want to see that kind of thing. But my recommendation is no. So that's kind of the it's kind of the state of things. Rondon's waiting for the aggroed unicorn skin. That could be a sacred, maybe that'd be the baby unicorn. I think that'd be more appropriate than the sacred unicorn. But yeah, why not, right? I do think, with the skins, there does need to be some sort of moderator review, because one, it's got to be, family friendly, but two, it also has to be, recognizable. So, if I'm in a match and, the other team gets revealed and my team gets revealed, and especially once we have items and spells, then I need to be able to look at a glance and see what the other team has, rather than trying to figure out, if I hover over this monster, I can see what it is. I need to be able to have a more rapid identification of my opponent's cards than that. So Rondon's going to keep lobbying until it happens. You go for it with your clown power. I believe in you. Oh man. So yeah, I mean there could be some fun stuff, but it's got to be reasonable in the context of the game. So that's my only thing. But I mean, there could be lots of sacred unicorns. Unicorns are pretty easy to identify. They've got these big horns on their heads. Elemental phoenix. You could draw a phoenix. Many different ways. So, it's it is what it is. But I think having the community involvement there is going to be way more attractive than all the other stuff. So yeah, that's kind of the state of things. I think Dark Angel Crystal prices are going to stay lower. They're not going to reach par value into pre-sale number 3, and then after that, the demand on of Dark Angel Crystals, I don't see much of a catalyst anytime soon for that to go up. So if you're taking the long view of the Dark Angel Crystal market, then you might consider it's like, well, once Lands gets released, that's not the end of the Dark Energy Crystal sink, because then you got to do buildings, and then you got to upgrade buildings, and then you're gonna need to put monsters and summoners into those buildings and have them working the lands. So all of that's going to require Dark Energy Crystal, and the Dark Energy Crystal spent on the lands themselves, are going into general funds of Splinterlands, but the building updates and all those kind of things are going to be burned. From at least that's from what I understand. So once those kick in, the inflation will go way down, and then theoretically price will compensate for that. So that's a very long term view though, because I realistically I don't see lands rolling out before Q4 of 2021. And Rondon's making the point that the current skins are expensive, and they are. So, that's certainly a whale purchase at that point. But cards have been doing well. We can see that. What's a good mark? Well, we can just look at the market cap from SM Voter Hut. Let's do market cap there. So you can see market cap's been rising nicely, and we're at all time highs essentially. So what is that? Or just under 6 million. Now, of course, the way 5.816, the way they count things is a little aggressive in that they're basically going off list prices rather than market prices. Peak Monsters implemented their new bid, well, not new, but like expanded bidding system. You guys should check out that post. It's pretty cool. I like how, like, if I'm selling cards, I can now see the current bid right in the card display. So I'm a fan there. Why is this not working? Let's retry. There we go. Okay. So market 6 point. Okay, so Jarvie, that market value is for all cards total, or just all cards listed? That's one thing I've wondered about the 5.108. Okay, so taking 15% off the market cap value from Splinterlands. So I mean, things are doing well, card wise, and I've of course I keep track of my collection value, from week to week, and it's been going up, which I like. So let me pull up a compute here. So right now I'm at 86. That's all cards total. All right, great. Try again. Everything is doing well versus Hive. That's true. Okay. So, a couple weeks ago that was 84, then it was 82 before that, and that number got down to 56. So it's gone up quite a bit since then. It's still a little short of all-time highs, So like right before or right when Untamed was being released, that number got up to like 96, something like that. And so still recovering from that, But in general, market is recovering and doing well. One thing I realized after looking at my card collection there was that I'm really really heavily overweighted into Splinterlands. So I've got this card collection. I've got half of the Deck 101 service. I've got this region sitting in my inventory. So all in, that ends up being 57% of all my crypto. So so 57% is too much. So I've actually started, you know, I'm not selling anything. I'm not selling any of my productive, cards or anything. But I am taking my earnings and I'm in dark ender crystals and I'm selling those. I also listed my gold dice for sale because I when I bought it into dice, I knew that I was only going to be maxing out a regular set, and the gold set I just wasn't going to do. So I listed those for sale, and I've sold some of them. A lot of the summoners and things. Uh, Ron Dunn says Neil is exit scamming. Yeah, that's me and an exit scam. But basically, I'm just rolling profits out. That's all, and I'm distributing that into other things. So you know, lately I've been buying Ethereum with my deck earnings. So Jarvis says it's burning down all around us. Oh no. Yeah, but I'm still number one. Outside the team whale, and that will remain. That's for sure. Plus, once lands roll out, I might actually have to buy some cards. I don't know. So like, I have 19,000 cards. Clay's exit gaming on PAL. Oh, that's a fun thing we should talk about. Is the prediction markets. Those are coming along. We're in testing, and things are rolling along there. So I think I don't know, Clay, if you have a date in mind. Clay's also part of the predictions, but it's coming along. So I'm excited for that. So yeah, so I've got 19,000 cards. 185,000 BCX inside of that, and you know most of that is working. They're in Deck 404 teams. They're delegated to my personal playing account, and they're playing the game. But I have my idle assets. Claiborne says beta for prediction markets will be soon, maybe within a week, 2 weeks tops. Okay, that's pretty good. That's about what I thought as well. Let's see if I can actually get this to load. There we go. When you have so many cards inside Peak Monsters, it takes a while to actually pull the data. So let's say delegated is no, on market is no. But man, these filters on the bulk view is just phenomenal. Just gotta wait for it to update. Could be tomorrow, depending on what Dev has been doing the last couple days. Yeah, I mean, it seems pretty functional. It's ugly, but it's pretty functional. Come on, Peak Monsters. Loading. All right, let's try this again. Delegated, no. On market, no. And it's somehow I chose life in there. All right, take that off. Come on. All right. So, yeah, I've got all these idle cards. And, how many of them will I need for lands? I've got 1,000 plots. And I really just don't know. I've got a lot of alpha cards, a lot of beta cards. Untamed is pretty well delegated out. Yeah, Clay says, yeah, once he gets the meat and potatoes done, we'll find some super website designer guru to making it pretty. I think we're gonna rope in Crim to do that, aren't we? Wasn't that the the plan? Get some free labor. I don't know. Yeah, Jarvy's laughing at me. My first world problems. My account is too big for the site, slowing things down. But yeah, so I've got a few thousand cards sitting there, and these are mostly level one uncombines. And so what we don't know is, we don't know how many cards will be applicable to each plot. We don't know what percentage of plots will need those. We don't know if the BCX of the cards matter for the improvement on the mine or whatever it is, farm or something. You got to think that it will, right? Because that's how they want you to buy stuff. So all of those are going to be sinks, and prices should rise commensurately. We'll see how it goes though. But again, it's a year away, so how much time value of money is it worth doing? So in my yield farming, I'm making 17, 25, 30% on those, minus gas fees and all that kind of stuff. So it ends up around like 23. But that's a good chunk of change. I've actually started the process of putting some fiat into yield farming, and that will help dilute my portfolio imbalance with Splinterlands as well. So all in all, I think things are swimming along. The only not bright spot I think is that the price of Dark Energy crystals is not going to rebound for a while. But if you have a long term view and you're happy making 100% in a year, then I wouldn't say right now, but when we're talking the 60s and the 50s, if it gets down that far, that's definitely a buy. Where am I yield farming? I'm doing it primarily on Curve and Uniswap. So those are the two platforms that I use the most. There's Compound Finance, there's Yearn, there's Swerve, there's Waves. So there are a bunch of them out there. I was on DeFi Box, which was an EOS platform, but the yields there just went to shit. So I just cashed that out and still had to keep 100 EOS stake though, because that's what you need to do in order to do anything. I don't know. It's just a little bit ridiculous that I have to keep. Well, EOS is $3 now, so I have to keep $300 staked there just to operate on the network. That is totally out of whack. And I don't know if they have any developments that are in the pipeline to address that, or if they're just saying, well, we got our $1 billion, so that'll be fine. What I don't know actually is how the sister chains of EOS have handled that, like Wax. I don't know if they are in a similar kind of position or not. So if any of you guys know about Wax, then let me know, because I'd be curious. So yeah. All in all, I think we are doing well. I forgot about this post altogether. EOS is a literal hot pile of shit in my opinion, according to Clay. So I was starting to talk about this, and then I got distracted. So I wrote this post, what was it, 4 days ago? The crypto revolution is just getting started. And what I'm talking about in this post is that, crypto is still very much a small minority, very small minority of people who, even people who just buy on Coinbase, is still a very small fraction. The promise of crypto is literally revolutionary in that, by using this alternative financial asset as a means of exchange, then you are taking power away from your local governments, because if they don't have the power to print money and they don't have the power to pay the people to do the things they want to do, then they can't do anything. So with Bitcoin, approaching its all-time highs or at its all-time highs, when it breaks through, which I think it will, then the normies will start to pile in, and they'll be doing it just as a momentum trade, which is fine. A a certain percentage of them will make the leap and come into the crypto world and be part of, like Swoop says, DeFi is the killer app. I totally agree. They'll be into, blockchain gaming, like, Splinterlands or some of the other ones. There's definitely plenty of games there. But once that happens, the whole thing changes. And I think people really, really underestimate DeFi and how that's going to interact with everything. Because once you have DeFi in a way that scales and works, you don't need banks, you don't need credit cards, you don't need mortgage companies. Those are all dead industries. They're dead men walking. They just don't know it yet. So, you know, once people make that transition mentally into taking control of their money, taking control of their assets, I think that's nothing but good for the world, but also for Splinterland specifically. They will be that much more attracted versus things like Hearthstone or online Magic the Gathering or whatever it is. So, like I said in this article, we are really just getting started right now. We have maybe 3% of the market share, but once we get to that 10%, 20%, 30%, then things will really, really change. Worldwide. So Clay says, but Neil, who will charge people 29% APR on compounding late fees and penalties? I am sure people will find a way, but that is kind of a typical credit card. And Clay got a level, so I have to drink. I actually have a drink right here. So it's root beer, but it is beer, right? That counts. Inertia says it's funny how Brave gives me more ads about Splinterlands when I'm on Splinterlands. I have seemed to notice the same kind of thing, but I don't know if that's just the way you perceive things. What's that effect? Like the Dunning-Kruger effect, where you have a thing and then you see more of that thing in the world. I don't know, but but there are definitely a lot of Splinterlands ads, which I'm happy to see. And so I'm making money from Splinterlands a couple of ways, right? Because I get a little bit of bat every time I click on one of those little ad windows saying, I think even when you say close, you still get a reward for that, as far as I understand anyway. And bat, I am holding, I don't know, I've got like 15,000, 20,000, something like that. Confirmation bias, I don't think it's confirmation bias, but yeah. So all in, these are early days. I think crypto going to all-time highs and breaking those all-time highs, bringing in the normies, lands coming out, the guild wars, all of that kind of stuff is going to be just, pumping into Splinterlands in a great way. So I'm bullish. The only reason I am selling anything is just because, as a percentage, this is way out of whack. 57% of everything is just too much. But that is actually all the time we have for today. Now, normally there would be the Scaredy Cat Investor Show, but he's on hiatus for, I don't know, like 2 months or something. I think we maybe have 1 month left on that. But yeah, so otherwise, we will see you next time.